Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It feels kind of weird to say that, I have to admit, but I am still very excited regardless to, well, finally be making videos. Since I've got so many ideas for video topics in the beginning, I started a poll on Instagram where you could choose what video you would be most interested in. And as you can guess, a video about my favorite artists that inspire me has won. Right after a topic about my fashion sense actually, which kind of surprised me to be honest, but I am still very happy about it. Plus, as you probably just have noticed, I have an intro and an end card now, which I kind of regret not already implementing for my first video, but whatever. I hope you like it. I try to keep it quite simple, but still doing the job. So, yeah. Let's get to the actual topic. Since my inspirations and tastes in art change from time to time, like it's for most people and artists, I will dedicate this video to the artists who inspire me in 2022, so I could do an update if it should shift within a year or two or whenever. Also, because I'm a traditional and digital artist, and my styles and tastes vary immensely between both, I will talk about digital artists in the first part of the video and traditional artists in the second part of the video. I hope I do not forget to add the timestamps later on. So, starting with digital artists, you could probably already tell by the basic aesthetic of my digital chibis that they are quite heavily inspired by an artist named Salem, also known as Dreamalgia. I have to admit that they are the main reason I started drawing chibis digitally exclusively, but we won't focus on that today because it is a topic on its own. I really love the way they draw the faces and especially the eyes of their characters in this very soft, flat, but still shaded way, while they keep the rest of the image relatively flat and barely shaded at all. I have to say though that this mainly refers to their style from 2018 to 2020, before they drastically shifted their art style to a more, well, not edgy, but less soft and round one that focused mainly on pastel colors instead of the very bright and bold colors nowadays. I still very love their art, but I find myself coming back to their old videos and art pieces and just feel so inspired and excited to create digitally, a little more than I already do with their current pieces. I definitely recommend to check them out for creepy, cute, yummy, inspired art. Next one is Thumin. I already mentioned it in my introduction video that Thumin is also a reason why I started making videos in the first place. I really love her art style and how she always keeps this purple and pink light atmosphere to her art, despite it usually having a very dark color scheme. I love how sketchy and fluid her illustrations of her characters and her persona feel, and I just can't help to feel inspired by it. I also adore how she tackles controversial topics that honestly shouldn't be controversial in her videos and educates about them. Another artist who pushed me through with the video making is Duchess Celestia, as I also mentioned in my introduction video. I really love the aesthetic of her overall art and how light it feels. Her logo designs are really cute and it just makes me want to create my own logos. Her videos and speed paints are so well made and satisfying to watch, and her video about how to start a YouTube channel as a small artist made me just take the final steps to set everything up and sit here now and record an audio. Otherwise, I just love and adore a lot of digital artists, including smaller artists, which I would feel a little uncomfortable talking about in this video, because it is very likely that they would watch it, since a lot of them are mutuals of me, and I would feel like I'm somewhat love bombing them, and I don't want to sound that way, so I will just overall say that. If you mainly do digital art and I am following you on social media, it is very, very likely that I'm inspired by your art, since saying it in a very dramatic and harsh way, I overall am not the biggest fan of digital art, and it's really hard for me to find artists that really inspire me and whose art I really enjoy. So if I follow you and you do digital art, you can be reassured that I really, really enjoy your work. Of course, there are a ton more traditional artists than digital artists, since traditional is what I mainly work in. Especially watercolor artists are what get my creative juice flowing. One big artist who inspired my traditional art greatly within the last year is Arleebean. I really love her loose watercolor portraits that are so full of emotions and feelings in general. They are the reason why I dived into lineless wet-on-wet watercolor illustrations and portraits, and are also a big contribution to my traditional art development within the past months. xRainey is also an artist who is partly the reason I developed so much within the past months, due to their artist trading card series in gouache and watercolors. I especially feel inspired by the gouache portraits and how clean and flat they look. It's just so satisfying. And it actually resulted in me wanting to try gouache out more myself. But the way they also paint eyes, oh my god, their eye-themed card series actually inspired me to get back into making artist trading cards and ACOs after a year of not touching small formats at all. And I just fell in love with watercolor eyes on small scales. It is insane. It is insane. One artist that inspired me that unfortunately stopped making videos due to her health is AudraAuclair. However, she is still active on Instagram, which I appreciate a lot, obviously. I love her gouache illustrations and her overall psychedelic aesthetic. It is really inspiring to me to look at psychedelic art, especially in watercolors, gouache, or acrylics. And I adore how she uses bright and vivid colors in her art, yet makes it feel somewhat muted. I just love her art so much. It is just so pleasing to look at. Another very inspiring watercolor artist is HamRib Art. I especially love her painting over my sketches series, and her overall portraits are just so gorgeous. Also a big factor who caused me to get excited about gouache. She also makes quite a lot of tutorials and speed paints in general, which are just so pleasing to look at, like, wow. Shania Bo is another German artist who also does videos in German exclusively, but she tries and makes a lot of challenges that just wanted to try new things too. I really love how she approaches new challenges and is not afraid to admit that she failed. For me, that attitude is very inspiring in terms of my own art journey, and I think everyone should be less afraid of failing, especially in regards of art. I think I got a good selection of artists that inspire me with my working and my art. Of course, there are many, many more, but we also have to come to an end eventually. I still think that the artists I selected are a good representation of the work I adore. Maybe some of those artists are also interesting for you. Maybe you already knew some of them and now you can clearly see where my art takes inspirations from them. Oh my god, I'm exposing myself! But I hope you got a little insight in what my main inspirations are artist-wise. I hope you had some fun listening and watching again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and maybe even comment if you feel like it. There's a lot of content planned on my side for the future, and especially now, since I am on summer break, I have a lot of time to actually edit and record and write scripts, and yeah, so I have a lot of stuff planned and in the works. And I hope you're doing well, and until next time, stay safe and stay hydrated.